What the hell is going on in crypto right now? Many of our crypto prices are not doing much of anything at this point. We're seeing loads of consolidation of Bitcoin. You can see that the total market cap in itself has not done anything for the last couple of days at this point. The total market cap of altcoins isn't going anywhere, and people are starting to question, where is this thing going? Why is this thing freezing up like this? And how does this usually go? Okay, so in today's video, I kind of want to take a look at what is going on right here and talk about the battle for Bitcoin's price in which we are seeing at the moment, as it is truly quite insane, honestly. Now, of course, if you do want these updates and if you do want to stay up to date, just super up to date on everything in a little bit more of a more fast-paced way, of course, do go follow my Twitter, Tyler Hill YT, is where I have been doing a lot more technical analysis, posting some charts and posting more information that I think is important. So, paying attention to Bitcoin right now, we are seeing a battle for a key area. Now, what this key area is a door that opens up our first confirmation of a bullish reversal in the re-entry into a possible bull market. Now, I know that was a lot to say, so let me kind of break down exactly what that means. So, of course, as we did see this breakout for Bitcoin specifically, and this is very applicable to most cryptos, we saw that it came up again and it has now entered into what could possibly be deemed a bullish flag or just a general consolidationary trend. Now, a lot of people may ask, why is it doing it right here, right? Wouldn't you have thought it'd be at back up towards 43,000 towards this, this regional high, or wouldn't it be back at 40,000, which is kind of like that strong psychological level in which we saw loads of liquidation at, right? Or liquidity at. That's where most people would think. So no one was really expecting 42 to kind of be this little area where we would freeze up, unless you follow your Fibonacci's. So what we went ahead and did is that we know something. What we know is that in order for us to really start to have a strong confirmation that Bitcoin is working its way back up to the top side, and we definitely are seeing a bullish reversal and not just a bounce, a fake out, a bull trap, and a continuation to the downside, is if Bitcoin is capable of coming back up to recapture $44,400. Until we're able to come back up and clear this regional high and set a high above it, we are still in a downtrend on a macro sense. We are still setting lower highs, and with that does usually come lower lows, okay? And so until we're able to clear this level, really nothing too exciting is happening yet. Now, of course, breaking the trend is phenomenal, and that's the first step we needed to get to this point, but we have not cleared this macro high just yet. But what we know is that there are small steps to get up to that level, and once we clear the final step, it becomes very clear that it is a strong chance we will revisit it. Now, what that looks like, since we know now that we need to come back up to this level, well, let's look at the Fibonacci levels that gets us there. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a Fibonacci from this high that we put in back here, all the way down to the low that we put on seemingly on January 24th. And what we know about our Fibonacci's, let's just get rid of this trend line for now, is that as we do start to retrace from swing high to swing low, as we do start to retrace, the key zone of retracement that we are the most likely to bounce off of and continue to the downside is the 618 to 786 Fibonacci golden ratio. Now, what that means, though, is that if we're able to clear this level and hold above it, there is a very strong chance that we will recapture and likely clear the previous high, which created this Fibonacci retracement zone. And so considering the fact that we are currently looking to pass this previous high, and we are at the door of the Fibonacci zone that gets us there, it's no surprise that we are seeing a very strong battle at this point. Because the bulls are very aware that this is where we need to clear. We get above this, our shot back up to this new local macro high is much clearer, and then the bulls are more than likely going to really kick into gear to start to see some of these higher level retracements, maybe even up to $50,000. The bears are aware that as long as they're capable and able to hold the price below this level, recapturing this is going to be extremely hard. And if they are getting a successful bounce off of this level, back down below possibly $40,000, they could see a very steep decline and push to the downside, which is of course beneficial to them. And so as you can see, there's kind of these two counterparties that are fighting as hard as they possibly can in order to see this thing go in either direction. Now, what generally happens at this point is that as we are consolidating at a key level of resistance, the more times we hit it, the more likely we are to break it. That's what I've noticed. Because usually on these levels, we will see something like this: a wick, a close below these levels, and then a continuation to the downside. We're usually not able to maintain here for very long. Now, if we are able to maintain here for very long, it becomes much easier for us to see a break to the upside for an array of reasons. Reason number one is because as we do see consolidation on the shorter time frames, that allows something like our RSI to cool off. So what you can see is that as we are still setting some higher lows, right, and we are still seeing a little bit of an uptrend here, we're seeing some very steep lower lows. What that means is that the price is floating and maintaining, and although the bears are kind of having some success in slowing down the strength of this move, they're not succeeding in pulling the price back down. That says that there is bullish divergence here, and bullish divergence is generally bullish. Okay. Now, some people do look at this as a bullish flag, which is in, pattern technical analysis, an extremely bullish pattern. Now, even if you look at something like your Bollinger Bands on the 4-hour charts, you can also see that as we do consolidate at these levels, we go from being overextended to being in a very fair region for continuation back into the overextension into the top of our Bollinger Band envelopes. Because do remember, every time we get to the outside of these Bollinger Band envelopes, the likelihood is we're not going to maintain there for long. We are going to re-enter back into these two blue lines. And so optimally, we don't crash back into these blue lines. We consolidate into these blue lines, maybe even have an interaction with this 20 simple moving average. And then as the Bollinger Bands do continue upwards, that opens up the door to the top side for us to recapture. And so for all of those small reasons, that is why this consolidationary period at this point is extremely important, because it opens up many doors for the continuation back to the key level, which does look like us setting a macro high above $44,400. In the event in which we do break to the upside here, that allows us to set on a macro sense again a new higher high for the first time since November, which could be the start of the full-blown bullish reversal in which we have been looking for, which is an absolutely amazing sign for the bulls. I am under the belief that this is going to come much sooner than later. If we look at something like the Bollinger Band width, and basically what this is going to do is this is simply just going to give you, let's go ahead and let's just pull it up this way. There we go. What this is going to do, it is very simply going to give you the width of the Bollinger Bands. Now understand, the more volatile a chart gets, the wider the Bollinger Band gets. And so whenever they're not wide, and whenever these Bollinger Bands kind of compress and tighten up, that means there's not much volatility. And something that we know about these charts is that once we get to some of these lower levels in volatility, at right now, as you can see, usually what happens is that's the point in which we will see the breakout, the volatility increase as a breakout to the upside or the downside happens. And then that is where we will start to find these larger moves to the upside, which is why I am under the belief that a very big move is going to come out of this consolidation. Every time we've come back down to this level here, you can see that it's been followed by a rather large move to the upside or the downside, especially right here. Consolidate, boom, boom. Look at all that volatility. So I am under the belief that some mass volatility is coming, and when you pair that in with some of the bullish indicators, there definitely are some huge bullish implications there. Now, there is the possibility that off of this kind of consolidationary event, we do see a little minor capitulation event, but it is very important that we at least hold back above $39,208. I want you to understand that even if in the short term we do see a break to the downside very quickly, but we hold $39,208, we are still okay to see that push back to the upside, but it of course at that point would have to come much sooner than later. Similarly, you can see that back here, what happened, right? We can go ahead, we draw a Fibonacci, swing low to swing high, and look how this played out, guys. It's beautiful. We went up, we came up to the 786 level, consolidate, capitulation. We held some key levels of support back on top of some of these previous highs back here. Right here, we held this key level of support again. We allowed that to boost us back to the top side. That is very possible. And though I don't think it will play out like this, I don't see the price coming back down towards $37,000. I'm going to go ahead and say in the short term, we'd like to see it above $39,000. So even if it does see a capitulation event, it's boom, back to the downside and some type of, maybe a bit of a bull trap to squeeze out some of those over leveraged bulls, and then that bounce back to the upside is very possible. Yes, that is me saying it can go up or it can go down for the dumbasses in the comments, because that's what crypto does, right? We can never predict 100% what's going to happen, but we can react to what happens and engage what our plays are. How are we going to play that movement in the market? So currently speaking, if we're going to see a breakout to the upside, it's going to be obvious. It's going to be a very, very strong 4-hour or 2-hour or 1-hour candle that's going to push us well above probably $42,000, okay? That's how you're going to identify that. If we break above $42,000 and we come back and we start to hold back on top right now, 41,500, that's the sign that we're likely going to come back to retest this all-time high, or this macro high, regional high right here. And that's when we will start to get prepared for some more larger accumulations if we're capable of setting that macro high. But again, if we do break to the downside, do be anticipating a push as far down as $39,000. And just know that even if that happens, as long as we are holding support on top of even say this previous level of resistance right here, we are totally okay. That's where that bottom side of this rectangle comes from, because we can see here we had a key level of support or resistance. I'm sorry. 1, kind of 2, a strong resistance there. And when we broke it, we never came to back test it. So do understand we still very possibly can come back test this level before seeing a continuation. And you shouldn't be too worried until we were to say lose $39,000 in my opinion. So right now, that is why this thing is consolidating right now. But that's why consolidation isn't a bad thing and why it definitely has many bullish implications. And then that's also how you're going to identify a breakout to the upside by seeing the 4-hour closes above 42,000, or do expect that if we close down below 41,300, there's a very strong chance that we will see a push as low as $40,000 to even $39,000. So that is what the heck is going on with Bitcoin. That is what the heck is going on with crypto right now. That's my take on this whole thing. Of course, there are many other things behind the scenes, but I am expecting that this week we will see volatility pick up, and this should be another very interesting week in crypto. So I hope you guys are prepared. I hope you guys are ready, because I sure am, and I can't wait to update you guys tomorrow on how this thing plays out. But until then, everyone, please do be safe, and I will see you all next time. Peace.